Today we're going to talk about how to feed your vegan pet. I have a vegan pet and she's rather fond of stroganoff. I happen to like stroganoff, but my stroganoff isn't suitable for a vegan. It's made with chicken, butter and cream. But here we have a vegan alternative. And the vegan alternative, instead of chicken, you have mushrooms. Instead of cream, you have soya cream. And instead of butter, you have soya spread. So how do you make this vegan stroganoff? But firstly, you have your rice cooking here, which has been cooking for 3 minutes already. I have a pan here heated up. And what you do is you get a good unhealthy dollop of vegan margarine and put it in your pan. Make sure the pan is on a medium heat and don't put any of your vegan margarine on the hob. It melts and burns. Let your margarine melt. While you've got that melting, you have mushrooms here, enough for one person. They start off like this. So usually give them a clean, chop off the top and clean off the dirt. And you end up with about 5 mushrooms like that. Clean them off. You don't need to wash them, just wipe them, remove the major parts of dirt. So you've got about 5-6 mushrooms there, quarter of a pound if you like. So once your margarine has started melting, put your mushrooms in and let them start to brown. And that takes a minute or two. Using a wooden spoon, stir your mushrooms around. You don't want to knacker your saucepan with metal implements, so always use a wooden spoon if you can. You'll also need in your stroganoff some nutmeg and some tomato puree. So you have those ready. Try and stir your mushrooms without them escaping. The more mushrooms for your vegan, the better. In addition to your cream, tomato puree, mushrooms and margarine, you'll need either, and it's up to you, some water, about 3-4 fluid ounces, or some wine. The wine makes it a bit more tangy. But we don't have any wine, and my vegan prefers the water anyway, so that's for her. Mushrooms are still cooking away. Perhaps do another dollop of margarine, I think. This is butter. Force of habit, that. I'm not a vegan. I do this out of the goodness of my heart and perhaps a little love as well. So a bit more margarine. The whole point of a stroganoff is a buttery taste. And the vegan spread, people don't call them Spreads and Margarine Association or whatever it's called, don't call it margarine anymore, they call it spread. Well, I'm old school, so I call it margarine. I'm not that old though. The rice has now been going for 6 minutes. And your mushrooms should just be starting to brown. You can use any sort of rice you like. I happen to be using basmati because my other half likes basmati, but long grain rice is traditionally better. My mushrooms are starting to colour up a little bit. You can just see there. So what I do now is add my little bit of water. I don't think I'll add it all just yet. Some of the cream. We get this quite a lot in the UK, and maybe other creams may be available if you're watching from the BBC. So add a good chunk of cream. I think this is about, can't see how much cream there is in it, but I think it's about 75 millilitres. No, that can't be right. But anyway, a good glug of cream. Stir that around to mix it up. On no account must you let the cream boil. Particularly if you're doing the non-vegan version, it splits otherwise. So put some tomato puree in. Decent sized squeeze. The tomato puree is what gives the stroganoff its colour. There you go. Decent amount of puree, cream and water. Mix that up slowly so it doesn't splash everywhere. You can add pepper to add flavour. I will do in this case, but it's not obligatory. There we go. A little bit of pepper. I should let that come to just below the boil. Now I'm going to add my nutmeg. There you go. 1 nutmeg. Lovely little thing. Very full of aroma. And grate that in. Again, as much as you want, or as little as you want. The more you do this, the better the idea you'll get of the flavour you want. There you go, it's starting to steam away a little bit, so just turn it down a little bit. Keep an eye on the rice, which will come out in a minute or so. So just to recap, put some margarine in, let it melt, brown off your mushrooms or start to brown them off, add some water or wine, some cream, and then add a good sized dollop of tomato puree, and then grate some nutmeg in. Make sure it doesn't boil, just keep it below the boil and stir it once or twice, possibly 3-4 times a minute. Stir your stroggy again. You can see the colour, salmon pink colour almost. Entirely inappropriate for vegan, but it's a good way to describe the colour. Turn the other hob off. And your vegan will enjoy many meals of this. It's a lovely, delicious meal. Very warming, ideal on a winter day, very refreshing as well. I've given the rice a little bit of time. There's the rice and the colander. I just use the fork, put it into the bowl as much as you can. And it's nice and fluffy, it's not sloppy at all. Cooking rice, put as much water as you can into the pan without overfilling it. Usually about 3/4 of a pound, half a pound, 3/4 of a pound. Then put 100 grams of rice or thereabouts, depending on your vegan. Some people want more, some people want less, but 100 grams is a good reasonable amount. And there you go, you got nice fluffy rice. Slightly sticking together, but not sloppy and not breaking apart. Make your rice into a little well in the bowl, like that. And that's where we'll put our stroganoff in. I think the stroganoff is just about ready. So you take the stroganoff, pour it into the well in the middle. And the rice will start to soak up creamy juice, sauce, whatever you like to call it. And that is mushroom stroganoff for your pet vegan.